All right, and welcome back to Saturday Night Chit Chat. And man, I'm super excited to have this next guest on. Last time we saw each other was right before all this craziness happened over the last year. I believe it was Residence Festival, so in Pennsylvania. Everybody, please give it up for Mr. Vince Herman from Leftover Salmon, Great American Taxi, and The World Earth too, as well. Hey, Vince, thanks so much for being on the show today. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. It's a Saturday night getting wild.
I know, man.
I joined you for this.
Oh man, well, I'm so happy you're here. And like, you know, the last, like I mentioned, as we jumped on, it was I always kind of start off the show by asking what everybody's been doing the last year. And I saw you since this craziness happened, and I saw you right before, like maybe 2 or 3 months before all this craziness kicked in. At Resonance, we sat in and played together. So how have you been, what have you been doing this last year to kind of keep your creativity and your mind and yourself occupied?
It's been quite a journey, man. March 11th was the D-Day for us. We drove back from tour, the first day of a 2-week tour. And, I sat at home for a couple months, just totally isolated, totally scared of this thing. Until I realized that the only person I was interacting with was, like I am now, the image of myself on my phone screen.
Right.
And I realized, man, I better talk to someone else beside myself or I'm going to lose my mind.
Yep.
So I ended up buying an RV and traveling around the country in as safe of a COVID way as possible, self-contained unit. I ended up here in Nashville after some ramblings and, met some great folks who hooked me up with some great stuff here in Nashville. I got a publishing deal now, and I'm been doing a lot of writing here. So the creative silver lining of this cloud has been pretty fun for me.
That's incredible, man. So many people have been on this show. Obviously, Jennifer lives there, Hartswick, obviously. And then I actually had Billy Sheehan, bass player Billy Sheehan on about a month or so. And he moved to Nashville not too long ago himself. So it seems to be, a good place to be right now. I mean, the vibes must be really happening down there.
Just hung out with Jen the other day doing an Andy Frasco project.
Oh, nice.
With being produced by Chris from the Dashboard Confessionals, man.
Wow.
There's lots of different kinds of music going on in town here. It's not just a country town anymore. But man, there's some good country music coming too. Yeah.
Now, you said you got an RV. Are you doing my new obsession is, I watched Nomadland, and I don't know if you've seen that yet, but the one of the gentlemen that's in it, you think, well, he's like, man, he's such a good actor. Well, it turns out he's actually a guy. He does this YouTube site, RV Living, and it's basically about living in an RV 24/7. Are you like living in the RV? You actually live in, and you got a spot now, or?
I did it for 3 or 4 months. I still kept my place in Boulder, but I just was on the road for 3 or 4 months.
Yep.
And got this good scene set up here in Nashville and went back home to Colorado and cleared up my stuff and got back here and just bought a house, and I'm in Madison, Tennessee.
Nice.
And, it's been a month of sleeping in the garage while remodeling the house. And,
right.
It's been good, man. I'm definitely ready to be settled in and get back to touring and writing and all that stuff instead of carrying boxes around.
Yes, right. So you're actually kind of planting your flag down in Nashville. I mean, you plan on being there for a little bit, it sounds like, right?
I am, man. I got a lot of a good opportunity here, and it's a chance to maybe do something besides being on the road all the time, which gets a little harder when you dang near 60.
Sure, yeah. That's incredible. But now you're originally, Vince, I think I read this right. You're from what, Pittsburgh area? Is that right?
Pittsburgh, yeah, Carnegie, Pennsylvania.
And that's where you're born in the whole 9 yards and grew up?
Yep. Several generations of both sides of the family right there in Carnegie. My grandfather was the town doctor, and went to your house and delivered your babies and all that kind of stuff way back in the day. And
yeah.
Got deep roots in southwestern PA.
That's incredible. And then is that were you still in Pittsburgh when you got into was guitar? Let me ask you this. I don't even know this. Was guitar your first instrument, or were you like a piano guy at first, or drums, or what was your?
Yeah, my older brother. I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and my older brother made me a plywood guitar when I was about 2 or 3 years old, and he dressed me up like a hippie and had me play tunes on my plywood guitar. Nothing's changed in my world since then, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, I started taking piano lessons just, you know, as a way to bug my older sister.
Right.
You know, I want to do that too.
Sure.
But I started guitar lessons in about 3rd grade, and it's been guitar most of the time. You know, started mandolin and banjo and bass and all that stuff over the years.
Were you doing like high school bands and all that kind? You know, like doing the.
Yeah, I was in the jazz band in high school.
Yep.
And also in a thing called after the jazz band, we'd go out to the local park and smoke a lot of pot. We had a thing called the nature band, man, where we would play sticks and stuff, you know.
Oh, that's killer. That's awesome.
But yeah, I had my first gig in a country band. I think I was a sophomore in high school.
Yep.
You know, met a guy who you know, the band he was in needed a guitar player. I stepped into that role for about a year, you know, playing honky tonks in Pittsburgh and all that stuff. It was a great experience, man.
That's incredible.
Here's Alan Pickett, that guy who gave me that gig, man. If anybody knows where Alan Pickett is, send him my way. I'd love to say hello.
Wow. Now, where did you know, for me, I know growing up in Cincinnati, that's where I got my ultimate love for the funk, because it's such a big thing here in Cincinnati, you know, Bootsy, Zapp, Ohio Players, blah, blah, blah. What with the blue, like what got, you know, with bluegrass, what was the thing that got you, you know, how did that love affair start happening? Was that a Pittsburgh thing? Was it, you know?
Yeah, it was, man. It was at the Smoky City Folk Festival in probably 1976. Big old bluegrass old timey festival, and I saw a group of about 30 people standing around in a circle playing these tunes, and I realized that they didn't really know each other, but yet they could get on making music like that. And all of a sudden the light went off about the social application of music, and it was like, now I really want to do that.
No.
And I realized I could travel anywhere and meet people and have things to do, and you know, and that life would be good. And you know, it kind of worked out that way.
Wow. And then you started, before you like migrated to Colorado, which was, I know, where Leftover Salmon kind of started. Did you, I read that you kind of did some stuff around the West Virginia area. Like, would you go to school like in Morgantown? Is that correct?
Yeah. After leaving Pittsburgh, went to school in Morgantown and studied acting and anthropology and English, and bailed 6 credits before actually graduating, keeping myself perfectly safe from matriculation. You know, but ended up pretty much majoring in playing bluegrass music, and I was.
So you were gigging a lot during college, right? Then you were gigging a lot during college, I'm assuming, at that point.
Not so many gigs. I did some work for the West Virginia Labor History Foundation. Went and played like some union rallies and things like that.
Wow.
But I didn't really play a lot in the bars or anything like that. If we did play in the bars, it was standing up on top of the table and playing acoustic around closing time.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I don't think a lot of, even people that tour in our scene, you know, I know even Sammy, you know, who tours with me sometimes, she, you know, from Turquoise, she says that they've, like Turquoise, I think she told me they haven't really played West Virginia a lot, and a lot of people don't realize like how big of a music, you know, I play Charleston and Huntington, of course, Morgantown. I mean, it's like there's such a huge music scene within West Virginia, and such music lovers all around that state, you know, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, it's a great state. I'm actually on the board of the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, and you know, we're currently in the process of voting in next year's inductees, and man, there is a huge slate of honorees, man. I'm telling you, West Virginia has a lot of great musical history, and you know, they just made the New River Gorge the first national park in West Virginia, and you know, maybe more people are going to start to see all the West Virginia has to offer here in the next few years.
That's incredible, man.
Good things will be happening.
That's so cool. That's awesome about the Hall of Fame thing. I didn't hear about that with you. I mean, well deserved, and that's so great. I mean, it's the fans there and the people that come out and see, and I know you know this probably as much or more than I do, but they're just I mean, I've gotten there and I played there and they've given me like homemade gifts, just like really cool stuff. Like, you know, like, so, and it's not because they're like, you know, geeked out that, oh my gosh, it's FreekBass. It's just because they're music lovers. It's about the music. And that's what's so amazing about that. Like that's really feels like you know, Ohio, we're kind of right next to it. So we would play there quite a bit, especially when I first started touring, and it's just an amazing state. So that's great. That's great to hear. So great
Absolutely.
stuff. And then, so I'm thinking we're probably jumping ahead a little bit. So you know, obviously did the college thing in Morgantown, and then not long after college is when you kind of migrated out to Colorado. Is that right?
Yeah, I was kind of, school had dwindled down, and I was living in a place that didn't have any electricity, and it was getting cold, and I'm thinking, man, I got to make a move here. And a buddy of mine suggested we go out to Boulder, and my mentors Hot Rise were out here at the time. Yeah. And figured, you know, let's go out there and check out kind of like a more progressive kind of bluegrass scene, and see what happens. And that was in October of 1985, and I've been in Boulder most of those years since.
Wow. And I'm sure it's over the years, just like any town, it's probably changed so much in terms of, you know, cost of living and the type of people that live there, et cetera, right?
Yeah, it's become quite the tech hub, and right. You know, that economy is different than other economies.
Sure.
So, yeah, but it's still a great town with a great music scene, and lots of friends and folks I really love out there. You know, my two boys are out there. I get to play music with my two sons, Silas and Colin.
That's awesome.
And we have a little trio called the Herman Clan, THC cool. for short. And you know, it's really fun to play music with your kids, and it makes that circle of going back to Colorado even more important. You know.
Oh, that's so cool. I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and she, for the first time, got in. We played a hometown show. We play once or twice a year in Cincinnati, and she got up and she plays guitar and got up on stage with us last year. And again, right before all the pandemic happened, and it was, I mean, you know, there was like it was the weirdest feeling. You know, I'm like looking over at her, and I'm like, how is this, you know, of course you remember when they were like this, and it's like, how is this even happening right now? It's like, it's pretty incredible feeling. Yeah. It's
proof of evolution on in my role of that, you know. Both my kids are way better musicians than I.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow. So then when you got to Colorado, obviously when you met Drew, and then was Leftover Salmon, like, did that happen pretty quickly after you were there, or had you been kind of in Colorado for a bit before that all came together?
Yeah, man, I actually pulled into Colorado our very first time coming in off the highway, and parked in front of this place and said bluegrass music tonight. And it was the Left Hand String Band with Drew, and I eventually joined that band, and then started another band called the Salmon Heads, which joined with Left Hand String Band to be this thing called Leftover Salmon, for what we thought was going to be one gig. And here it is 31 years later. We got that stupid name.
Wow, that's crazy, man. And then obviously you and Vince have been the string through everything, through all the formation of that. I mean, I have a band that changes a lot over the years myself, and I know what the feeling is for me, but how is it for you with, you know, changing band? I know you've had a lot of them for quite a while now too, but like, I mean, do you find that inspiring? Is it, I mean, what's the feeling of that kind of, you know, with the changing of guard over the years?
Well, I mean, you know, we kind of started the band with Mark Van, and losing him to cancer was a serious blow that,
sure.
You know, we eventually had to take a pause for a couple years.
Yeah.
Just to get our heads back on right, you know, about playing music and touring and all that, you know, so it was tough to lose Mark. Yeah, we've had a lot of players over the years, and it's always a little challenge to, you know, get everybody up to speed, because it's a massive repertoire we've accumulated over 30 years, you know.
I can't imagine, yeah.
But yeah, it's always fun, and it's good to bring new elements into the sound, you know. We had Eric Deutsch with us for quite a few years there, and he brought so much to it.
I know. Eric's so
really expanded the sound. You know, playing with Bill Payne on keyboards was a great experience. You know, yeah, it's fun to keep things evolving and fresh. And, though it can be challenging, it's the rewards are certainly there for mixing it up.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Well, what do you think? Let's zap ahead to kind of semi-current day. What you know, I asked this almost of everybody, and it's changed obviously because this show started back in March of April of last year. But say of like fall of this year, what is that, 5 or 6 months away from now? Where do you think we're going to be at with? I mean, I know the festival thing and this, you know, outside I can wrap my head around. I'm talking about more mid-size club type touring situation in the fall. Do you think we're still a ways away from that, or you know, or what's your gut on that?
Well, man, it depends on what the vaccine rate is.
Yeah.
How much resistance to that there is. It depends on the mutations. You know, we may be able to get our second shots come fall. You know, I don't know. This is an unpredictable disease that has never been seen before, and we don't know what will happen. But hopefully, people get vaccinated out there. We can keep doing this safety thing and have things come back. Man, I sure love playing music, and it'll be great to do these festivals coming up this summer.
Yeah. Hopefully
they can be pulled off safely.
Yeah.
And you know, no spikes and cases come about. It's no fun, man. I actually got COVID after I got my vaccine. About a week and a half after I got the vaccine, I came down with COVID. I didn't wait long enough for my immunity to really kick in, and went and played a gig. And
oh my gosh, how did it? Was it a rough ride, or was it not too bad?
It beat me up pretty good, you know, for about a week or so.
Yeah.
But you know, I hate to think of what it would have been like had I not been vaccinated, man.
Right.
You know, I'm not the healthiest of guys.
Yeah.
You know, so it could have been ugly, and I'm sure glad I got vaccinated when I did.
Wow. Now, one thing, Vincent, I haven't, you know, read this yet. I still haven't heard a definitive answer. I mean, is it like a, you know, like a polio type thing where it's like a one and done for our life thing, or is it gonna be like a flu shot? We're gonna get this thing every year, or do they even know yet? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I don't think they really know. You know, the variants, you know, I'm sure they're watching them. You know, I'd like to know what variant I had.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's even being tracked. You know, I don't know that myself, being as a guy who got it after getting the vaccination, that should probably be tracked, but I've been in no contact with anyone about that. You know, so the tracing and the science, you know, still isn't up to what it needs to be. But hopefully that all comes together and we can really get back to being people. Yeah, not paranoid all the time about breathing. You know?
I know. It's just such a weird thing. Well, what do you got? Let's stay kind of in the present. Like, you know, you're moved to Nashville, obviously doing a lot more songwriting, and you know, I'm sure a lot more collaborations since you're, you know, so close to so many other songwriters down there right now, which is just so fantastic. The one thing, you know, I always, you know, I was telling this I mentioned I had Billy Sheehan on last month, and Bill, you know, as much as, you know, me being a bass player, he's such an amazing player, technique wise, but still the thing that's always like gets me for every musician, no matter how good technically they are, is always about the song. Like, I'll tell you what, when I sat in with you guys at Residence, you know, you and Keller, I think, were backstage, and just see like the power of song is just so, you know, great being a great musician, and I'm all about that, but the power of the song is just so freaking powerful. And you're obviously you've made that such a staple of what you do. You know, with that said, you know, what do you have kind of on the docket, you know, over the next 6, besides obviously hopefully doing a lot of touring, but I mean, you know, do you have any like recording projects or any other kind of things that you can let us know yet about?
Yeah, Salmon just released the record here last week. It's called Brand New Good Old Days. We're really fired up about that. It's on Compass Records. And in the next month, June 6th or 7th, I think, record by my new band, the High Hawks, is going to be released. That's with Tim Carbone from Railroad Earth and Adam Grohl from Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, Chad Staley from the Hardworking Americans, Will Trask and Brian Adams from Great American Taxi and Dead Fish Orchestra.
Wow. How did you guys record that? Did you do it remotely or did you actually do it together?
We did it pre-pandemic, just before the pandemic. We finished that one. We're good friends that really we're looking for an excuse to hang out with each other more, and we decided to book some shows 3 or 4 months ahead, and started writing material for it, to see what we could do. Had a couple days before the first show, and the material turned out to be pretty strong, and so we decided to go ahead and make a record of it, and that result is coming out soon, man.
Wow.
I'm very psyched.
And it'll be available at all the places people usually get music, all the streaming,
all that stuff. The High Hawks, yeah.
The High Hawks, wow. That's all one word. H-I, like Hawks, like all one word.
HIGHHAWKS.
Oh, okay, got it. Like that, got it. Cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, well, cool, man. Well, Vince, I can't thank you so much for being on the show. I mean, your career is it's so inspiring to see. It's the combination of touring and recording and creating new art all the time is just so good. I'm so glad you got over the COVID thing. Do you know of anybody else was it like just could have been random anybody, or do you know like where you picked it, like were you able to tell the possible other person like to take care of themselves too, hopefully?
It was at a Kitchen Dwellers show here in Boulder. The whole cut by a ton of people got it at that event.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow.
So go out there and have fun. So it was an indoor event, So,
wow.
Have a great summer out there and get some stuff done, and still roll your own. Don't pass them around yet.
Yeah, got it. I got you. And all that. Well, I love everything doing it, and love all the stuff you've been doing with Andy too. I've been keeping an eye on that too. It's great. It's really cool to watch him too. He's kind of carved his own little niche in the world too. It's kind of cool to watch that as well. So. Yeah,
man, it's a good universe to be in right now.
That is true. That is true. Well, thanks for being a part of our universe tonight, and stay safe out there. And hopefully next time I see you, we'll be in person and not virtually.
Yeah, buddy. Keep the funk going, man.
Oh, you know it. All right, brother. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace out.